Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Temple Institute Parsha class. My name is Gedalia Meyer, and I'm podcasting from Malu Demim in Israel. What do we think of when we consider the things that we have? We might first think about how much money we have. The fact that this is very possibly the very first thing we list speaks volumes about our values. Assuming we can get that out of the way, we may next go to our possessions. These are really more concrete versions of money, but they may have some sentimental or historical value, so they probably rate a little higher on the personal scale. After we have managed to realize that even these sorts of things may be here today and gone tomorrow, we may focus on things of truly important value. What may come to mind at this point is other people, such as family or friends. These are not things. They are human beings just like us. They have their own lives and their own hopes and dreams. The very fact that in some manner our lives are intertwined with theirs should be a blessing beyond any value. Family and friends are something to truly live for. Losing one is like losing a piece of ourselves. Taking things to the limit, we eventually end up at our own lives. Our bodies, our minds, our personalities, our memories. These are impossible to rate on any scale because they are who we are. We may be fed up with life, and we may have all kinds of problems like health or hang-ups or all kinds of lousy experiences to look back upon. But on the whole, we are not ready to throw in the towel on living. All in all, it's an experience we wouldn't trade for the world. When we sense something is going, such as the body wearing down through age or the mind beginning to no longer function like it used to, it can come across as an unimaginable loss. Those who haven't yet experienced this may secretly dread this possibility. But for those who have, it is one more thing to have to deal with in the strange and wonderful experience called life. But even this is fleeting and temporary. We all know this. We will not be here forever. We will all die. We may believe in a soul or we may not, but whatever the ultimate situation, it won't be the same as it is now. So what is truly permanent? We might think about our accomplishments, but soon we realize that even these will be forgotten. When we contemplate what people who lived only a few generations before us did, we realize that everything about them, their lives, their loves, their goals are now gone. So what is left? Well, there is the earth. There is still life and sunshine and rain and dirt. There are the oceans and the rivers, the deserts and the mountains. This is permanent, or at least as permanent as anything gets. We could go even further and speak of the stars and the planets and space and time, but this is getting a bit out of range. They are there and always will be. Well, we can only look at them and realize that we share the universe with them. The earth, however, is our home. It is our place and always has been. It will be here when we are long gone, just as it has been here long before we ever graced it with our presence. We may feel that we have our own little piece of the earth. It may be a piece of land or a town or a country that we call our own. We may feel the whole earth is our own treasure, worthy of protection and care, of gratitude and hope. We may belong to a group that has decided that a particular piece of land is really theirs. It is their homeland and their history. It is their story, and they are connected to it as much as the body is connected to the soul. When a group of people have this connection to a part of the earth, it can truly seem like they have been blessed. This is their little piece of the great pie. Others may envy them for this, but they still believe that they have been given something of permanence. This week's Parsha is called Eikev. It is a rather long Parsha in which nothing of note actually happens. The word Eikev is difficult to translate. It means both heal and because. It may seem impossible that a single word can mean two such things that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but such is indeed the case. It is best translated as because, but that word is a bit underwhelming for the name of such an important parsha. The entire parsha continues the theme of the two previous parshas. This is Moshe's speech to the Israelites as they are on the cusp of finally entering the land. Moshe himself will never go there, as described in the part of this long speech in last week's Parsha. This was not his task or his fate. His mission was to get them to this point, but what they would do once they got there was no longer his responsibility. The entire Parsha is what could be called in Yiddish a Musar Shmuz. This means a talk to get people concerned about their paths in life and to try to improve their personalities. Musher schmoozes tend to have a theme that everything revolves around. In the case of this week's Parsha, that theme is the land of Israel. There are plenty of other ideas thrown around in no particular order, but it always comes back to entering the land, conquering the land, living in the land, and remaining in the land. The Parsha includes a brief recap of some events around the giving of the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai, focusing mostly on the tablets which Moshe cast down and shattered following the incident of the golden calf. But even this is really only a prelude to a warning about what will happen if the Israelites don't stick to the program and abandon God. The general theme weaves in and out around the problems the Israelites have faced and will face. This includes the nations they have battled against and will battle against in the future. They will be confronted with what will seem to be impossible odds. They will have to deal with the consequences of victory, of attributing it all to their own power and ability and forgetting about God. They will have to realize that even something as natural and as necessary as the rain falling to feed the crops comes from God and will only happen if they follow God's laws. The challenge of having to lead both individual and national lives with this constantly in mind will seem Herculean. But this is precisely the tasks to which the Israelites have been entrusted. This is why they were brought out of slavery in Egypt and why they were led through the desert for 40 years. Their task was to make things work in the land of Israel. Why here, it could be asked? Why not anywhere else? Or why weren't they allowed to simply wander around until they found a place that they finally decided would be their home? Why were the Israelites chosen to be the nation that would live in this chosen land? What was it that matched this people to this land in a way that somehow endured for over 3,000 years, including about 1,000 years in which the land lay almost empty of Israelites? There is nothing quite like the relationship of the Israelites and the Jews with the land of Israel in all of human history. It defies rational explanation and really only makes sense when one accepts traditional beliefs and legends and a bit of the supernatural. This parsha gives us some clues about the unique nature of this land. Quote, God is bringing you to a good land, a land of flowing streams and springs which come from the depths in the valley and the mountains, a land of wheat and barley and grapes and figs and pomegranates, a land of olive oil and date honey, a land where you shall not eat your bread in poverty. You shall lack nothing there, a land whose stones are iron and from whose mountains you shall quarry copper. You shall eat and be satisfied and bless HaShem your God for the good land given to you. This is about as complete a description of the land as can be found anywhere in the Torah. The only thing missing is something about it, quote, flowing with milk and honey. But that comes up plenty of times elsewhere in the Torah, including one later on in the Parsha. Quote, keep all the commandment that I am commanding you today in order that you remain strong and come to possess the land that you are crossing towards to possess. And in order that you endure on the ground that HaShem swore to your ancestors to give to them and to their descendants, a land flowing with milk and honey. This little speech goes on with a kind of warning. Quote, the land that you are coming to possess is not like the land of Egypt which you left, in which you sow your seeds and irrigate by your own power, like a garden of vegetables. The land to which you are crossing to possess is a land of mountains and valleys, which is irrigated by the rain from the heavens, a land which HaShem your God looks upon. The eyes of HaShem your God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. These verses tell us, probably better than any other verses in the Torah, what this land is all about. There will be plenty of opportunities for ingenuity and for overcoming challenges. There may be irrigation channels to be dug and gardens to be watered. There will be battles to be fought and enough internal strife to fill the Bible. The Israelites will have more than ample opportunities to pat themselves on the back for a job well done and to blame themselves for failing to stand up to the most famous national mission in the history of the world. They will succeed and then fall apart. They will come back and fall again. They will venture in and out for about 2,000 years, and then they will come back again, only to find that things haven't gotten any easier. This is an amazing history, revealing the prophetic relationship between this people and this land. What accounts for it? It is the simple fact that HaShem, your God, is constantly looking upon this land. There will be no easy solution to the problems that arise. There will be no Nile River to draw water from with annual floods and reliability. It will always come back to God. The eyes of God will always be upon this land. It may not seem like it at times. There will be exiles and famines and long periods of desolation. There will be other nations and kings and political parties. But at the end of the day, from the beginning of the year until the end of the year, the single constant will be God. This is what the Israelites and their heirs, the Jews, will always have as their collective possession in the world, whether they are there or not. It is the Jewish piece of the great pie called the earth, the land of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.